Yo, so what is up, everybody on YouTube? Today we are back with a brand new video, and for today's video we are going to be doing another rebuilding challenge. Now, down in the comments someone suggested, why don't I just go for one of the hardest teams in the NBA? We're going to be going with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So this one will for sure be a little bit harder than the last couple rebuilds we did, and if you didn't check those out already, they are going to be pointing up right now. Up top, you can see them in the cards if you want to check those out. Pretty good vids if you want to see them. But pretty much, so here we are. We're about to hop into the vid, but real quick before we actually hop into this video, please be sure to absolutely destroy that like button and subscribe if you are new. Please be sure to do those. It really will help me out a ton. We're on that big road to 1K, and you guys show so much support, and it helps your boy out a ton. I really appreciate it all from the bottom of my heart. So here we are getting into the actual rebuild. As you know, the Cavs team is a little bit of a shit show. Sorry, Cavs fans, but it's the truth. They got some pieces, but they also have some of the guys still left over from that whole LeBron era. Some guys that are, I'm not going to lie, a little bit overpaid for what you would like them at. Obviously, Kevin Love is currently the highest overall player on the team, and long-term, I do want to try and get Kevin Love out of Cleveland. He's obviously a good player still, but he doesn't really fit with what I'm trying to have go on here. I don't think that he'll be a part of this team long-term for us. Some of the other guys, Tristan Thompson, another guy I'm really not trying to keep throughout the rebuild. I am going to try and keep a lot of our young core here to see really what can go on, how good they can get, and if we can win a championship. But Tristan Thompson's one of the odd guys out. Maybe Larry Nance and Jordan Clarkson stay, but in real life, I heard that they are trying to play Jordan Clarkson and Darius Garland interchangeably at the 1 and 2. So we are going to make the switch to Colin Sexton playing the 2. Actually makes his overall go up a little. So we're going to have Darius Garland at the 1, Colin Sexton at the 2. Obviously Kevin Porter Jr. could develop. We're just playing around, kind of seeing, moving around any guys would help out. But I think that's what we're going to keep it at. Darius Garland at the 1, Colin Sexton at the 2, Chetty Osman at the 3, Kevin Love at the 4, and our boy Tristan Thompson at the 5. So for the first year, we're pretty much going to leave it the same. And then second year, I'll probably go in and look for some trades and change things up and see just how good we can get this Cleveland Cavaliers squad. I'm not even going to bother to check the power rankings because I'm assuming they're going to have us as one of the bottom 3 teams in the league, but it's no big deal. We do have our draft pick this year, so if this does become a complete shit show, we will actually get a good player out of all of it. So we are swimming through the season, and as you can see, there is a ton of L's on that calendar. This team's definitely not working out the best, but like I said before, we do have a lot of young talent on this team that I think we can really work with. Guys like Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, Dylan Windler, Kevin Porter Jr. are just to name a few of the guys that I definitely want to keep around. Maybe even Chetty Osman. I don't see him developing into a starter really, but I do see him coming off the bench and contributing. So, end of season 1, MVP goes to Giannis. No real surprise there because it's like that most of the time. Kawhi gets Defensive Player of the Year. Frank Vogel gets Coach of the Year. I don't expect us to have anybody on any of the All-NBA teams. First team, Ben Simmons, James Harden, Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron, and Jokic. And I really don't see a Cavalier on any of those lists. So we're just going to head into the playoffs, see what our record was, see what's going on around the league. Alright, so let's see how bad this record actually was in year 1 without really changing anything. So in the East, we were the worst team with only 25 wins, which is definitely absolutely garbage. As you can see, this is the reason that this team needs to be rebuilt by the rebuilding god, because they are last in the East if we don't make any changes to the squad. Nothing we can really do about it right now, but this offseason we are going to go berserk. Colin Sexton absolutely popping off from that 2-guard spot, putting up 20 points per game, 2.4 rebounds per game, and 4.3 assists per game, which you definitely love to see. I'm really liking him at that 2-guard, it turns out. Jordan Clarkson coming in as our second highest scorer with about 17 points per game, followed by aging Kevin Love right behind him, 17.6. Then Darius Garland and Larry Nance Baseball Pants rounding out our top 5 scorers. I'm definitely really liking this combo of Darius Garland and Colin Sexton going forward for this rebuild. I think they're going to work out really well with one another, honestly. So I'm definitely going to try and keep them together as much as I can. And just for the hell of it, let's look at team stats. I'm assuming we were the worst team as far as points per game and wins go. And of course we were. We are dead last, even behind the Charlotte Hornets. So it was a tough year for this Cavs squad. But next year, I promise you, we make the playoffs. It's a bold claim to go from one of the worst teams in the league to the playoffs, but I really do think we can do it. So, yeah, let's sim through these playoffs real quick and see what's kind of going on around the league. So, here we are. We're going to sim through and see what's going on. So, Sixers versus the Rockets in the NBA Finals. It might go to Game 7. It's going to Game 7, and actually the Philadelphia 76ers defeat the Rockets in 7 games, which is kind of interesting. Obviously, a super young team. So here we are in the 2020 offseason. This is where our moves are going to be made. We are at the draft. We have the number 2 overall pick, so we did get a little bit destroyed in the lottery, not getting number 1. But hey, we will take number 2 with how that lottery system's working nowadays. So on the board, we have RJ Hampton, Anthony Edwards, and James Wiseman. And of course, we have to go with James Wiseman, as of course the other 2 are guards. And we already have who we want there. We don't want to get rid of either Darius Garland or Colin Sexton. We really want them to develop. So we are going to bring in James Wiseman, which is probably going to mean that's the end for Tristan Thompson. So now we're going to shop Kevin Love this offseason. This is one of the big moves that we really have to make. See what we can get in return. So we're looking through, not too many crazy offers, but I think I know the one I'm going to go with. I will give them Kevin Love and a first-round pick for Tobias Harris. I do get Tobias Harris in a lot of these, but he will be a good fit on this team. He can kind of play the role that Kevin Love played, but at the same time, he's also younger, and I think at this point in his career, Tobias Harris is better than Kevin Love. I also want to get Larry Nance baseball pants off the team. I'm just really not loving his contract and all that. He's just a solid role player, and it's not really what we want here long term. We will take those two first for him just in case we need some trade value later on. Here we are in free agency. Our big move we're making this free agency is we are bringing in Danilo Gallinari. So the only 2 real big moves that we made this offseason is going to be Tobias Harris playing at the 4 and Danilo Gallinari playing our small forward position. So here we are. You can check out the rotation now going into year 2. I think we have a really, really solid team, honestly. A lot of upgrades this offseason. So we have Darius Garland for the 1. We have Colin Sexton at the 2. We have Danilo Gallinari at the 3, Tobias Harris at the 4, and James Wiseman at the 5. We now do get the bump to the 3.5 star proficiency, which should help us out as well. Let's see where the power rankings have us. They are still disrespecting us, having us a low 20 team, but of course last year we were the worst team in the NBA, so you can't really blame them too much. But we are going to sim through this, and I do think that this team is capable of making the playoffs in only the second year, and really the first year that we had any control of the team. So here we are simming through, kind of splitting W's and L's. We just wanted to play with the system proficiency right there, make sure that we are maximizing how good this team really can be. So we're simming through. It looks like we're splitting, honestly. It's looking like we're probably going to be like a 41-41 type of year, but we will take it. That might be enough to get us a playoff spot still in the Eastern Conference, as it is weak. MVP goes to Steph Curry this year. James Wiseman does get Rookie of the Year, so that is a huge W, averaging a double-double as a rookie for our Cleveland Cavaliers. So I think it's safe to say we made the right decision in bringing him in as our draft pick, as opposed to Anthony Edwards or RJ Hampton. Kind of looking around the league, I don't think that we have anybody else on any of the All-NBA teams. Looking at the standing, let's see where we are. Did we get a playoff spot in the East? And we actually did, even though we only had 39 wins, which is very close to 41 like I thought. We did obtain the 8th seed. Colin Sexton popping off 24.5 per game, 3.1 rebounds, and 5.1 assists per game. Obviously, James Wiseman double-double. Tobias almost 18 points per game at the forward position. Darius Garland doing really good, and Danilo Gallinari is lacking a little bit, but as you can see, we did bring in some other role players off-season. Like I said, we only changed up a few big things, but we did bring in Nerlens Noel, Andre Roberson to kind of fill some bench spots for us. So as far as team stats go, we're not one of the top teams in the league, but it is okay. Kind of looking around the league, we don't really have anything top going on at the 1. We do have Colin Sexton actually at the 2 guard. If you look, he is the 5th best 2 guard as far as points per game scoring goes, which is definitely a huge W for Colin Sexton. Kind of looking around the league. I doubt we really have a top player at any of the other positions currently. Small forward, no. Power forward, maybe, but we don't actually. And nothing at center. So first round, we are up against the Atlanta Hawks. Let's look at the squad. They got Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and DeMarcus Cousins. So this will be kind of a tough game for us, I'm not going to lie. And they also somehow have Sabonis. Just make sure that our system proficiency and everything is the best it can be, and rotations are correct before heading into this series. So they do take the first game from us, but we are just going to sim through the round, not go game by game in the first round. So they are up 3-0 on us, and unfortunately, they get the brooms out. We get swept 4-0. But as you know with these rebuilds, it's a 3-year challenge, so we still have one more year to make this team the best that it can be. I have a lot of hope. I have a lot of hope after that team gets us the 8th seed. And back-to-back Sixers championships, kind of insane. But hey, I guess the Sixers really do have the talent that it takes. As Ben Simmons does get himself his second Finals MVP. So we kind of went straight into the third year. We didn't really make too much changes. This is what the squad is looking like for the third year. As you can see, it's pretty much the same team from last year. We now can get a 4-star proficiency with 7 seconds or perimeter centric, so that is a W. And the power rankings have us at 16. So they definitely are respecting us a little bit more, but I do wish we were a little bit higher, considering we did make playoffs last year, and this team is young, and they're only going to grow more and more this season. So as you can see, there is a lot of dubs on this board, which is amazing. I think that we're going to be one of the better teams in the East, if you ask me. Just crazy, crazy dubs. Honestly, I was not expecting us to be this good in only the third season, and obviously this is for the whole challenge. If we can win a championship this year, then we will pass the challenge, so let's see what happens. Lots and lots of W's. Russ gets MVP, which you don't really see all the time, kind of interesting. I don't believe we have anybody on any of the awards, but let's see. All second team, nothing. All third, Colin Sexton pulls out and gets us an all third team player. You love to see it. That's what's up. Colin Sexton really elevated his game a ton. Kind of look at the league standings, and we actually were the #1 team in the East with 54 wins this season. Insane. Cavs are on the 31.4 points per game for Colin Sexton. 6.4 assists per game. Oh my gosh, he went crazy. And then Darius Garland put up 20.6 per game. James Wiseman, 20 points per game and 9 rebounds. Gallinari, oh my god, Gallinari and Tobias don't even have to do that much if Colin Sexton's putting up almost 21.5 points per game. That is actually insane. Colin Sexton took a huge jump at that 2-guard position. I feel like he should be even higher than only an 86 overall. As you can see, we are pretty much the second best team in the league, only behind the Rockets as far as most stats go. Definitely a W. Our offense must be absolutely popping off. And as you can see, around the entire league this year, Colin Sexton is the highest scorer per game in general. Above Kyrie, above James Harden, and above Porzingis. The only other player above 30 points is Kyrie Irving, but Colin Sexton showed out. I really wish he was in the 90s right now, but hey, man, he just went absolutely bonkers and just crazy, 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 dude. But, shit, man, if he could do that during the regular season, I'm so excited to see what he will do for us during these playoffs as a pure offensive threat at this point. Kind of looking around the league, obviously he's the best at the shooting guard position. I don't think that we really have anybody else that's the best at any other positions. So, we're about to hop into it. Yeah, I don't think that we have anybody else in the top. But here we are, first round, #1 seed Cavaliers. Obviously, this team's super solid and young, and I tried to keep our core together. Versus the Nets, a tough team to have to face in the first round. I don't know how they're the 8th seed. They get a game on us. We take it. Come on. They get another game. It's going to be a tough fought series. We really need to show out with our young squad. They're up 3-1. We pull a game back. Come on. Take it to 7. And in 7, we win. The Cleveland Cavaliers tell the Nets that we are not playing around with them. Absolutely popping off. Darius Garland drops 35 points in Game 7. We now are up against this young Knicks squad, which somehow the Knicks always end up super good, so we'll see. We started off 2-0, 3-1. Come on. Let's knock them out. Oh no, they're bringing it to 7. Oh my, we just blew a 3-1 lead. You hate to see it. RJ Barrett goes absolutely crazy. So technically, this rebuild was a failed challenge. But hey, if I could get Colin Sexton to be the #1 points per game scorer in the league, I will take it. Rockets versus the Knicks in the finals. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button. Definitely sub up for more videos like this, rebuilding challenges and what ifs. It's been your boy, Beankeeper. I'll talk to y'all. Peace.